So I'm following on from Mark. We both work for the same organisation, which is Energy for All, that logo down there. Can I point at that one? So Mark's given you a bit of a canter through all the different projects that he's been involved with, but I'm going to talk a little bit about Edinburgh Solar, because it's a bit of a case study, and it's a very strong partnership between a local cooperative and a municipality. So the project is the largest community urban solar scheme in the UK. It is 1.4 megawatts of solar panels on 24 public buildings in the city of Edinburgh. The deal with the council was we would develop the project, and then we would sell the electricity to the council at the current rate, and we would fix that rate for the next 20 years. So the benefit that the council gets is progressively cheaper electricity as the price of electricity goes up. There's also a community benefit fund, and we've committed to the council that we will spend the surplus money from the cooperative on improving the energy efficiency of the buildings which host the panels, most of which are schools. And there's also an education programme, mainly at the schools, to help teach the children. So here's all the buildings, as you can see, scattered around Edinburgh, the city of Edinburgh, none in the centre because that's a historic place that you're not allowed to develop solar panels. So the society we created, its objectives are to develop and manage solar installations in the city of Edinburgh, but also to reduce carbon emissions in the city, reduce fuel poverty, and generally improve sustainability within the city. We offered a 5% return on investment to attract members, to attract shareholders in the city, and then we've also got a small loan as well from one of the other co-ops that exists within the Energy for All family. So 80% of our members are from the city of Edinburgh. There were a few from the outside. So what I'll quickly go through now is how we actually went through the development. So first of all, as Mark explained earlier, Edinburgh Council is one of the cooperative councils in the UK. So they had some pledges. They wanted to do some cooperative social enterprises within the city. They wanted to do food, they wanted to do childcare, and they wanted to do energy. So when we knocked on their door with the idea of a solar power project on their buildings, it was a very easy door to open. And we got to talk to the leader of the council. And that's how we first started. Now we can in Scotland, as I think Dirk mentioned earlier, we can get grants as a community group, as a co-op. You can get a grant that helps you do some of the feasibility. So we got that money. That allowed us to look at the various different buildings and to filter some of the buildings down. We started off with 100. We ended up with 24. And then once we proved financially that this could work, we then got a loan from the Scottish Government, a loan from CARES, which then allowed us to do some more of the at-risk work. So that was planning consents for all the buildings. We also had to get a legal agreement in place. It was mentioned earlier about gentlemen's agreements between co-ops and municipalities. That doesn't exist, unfortunately, in the UK. I think we had to spend about 30,000 euros on lawyers just to get a license to put these panels on the buildings. So that was all risk money that was put forward by the Scottish Government. And then we went out with our share offer. So that once we got all the permits in place, once we got all the legal agreements in place, we had our business plan, we created a share offer document, we went to the public and raised the money. So we were very lucky on our share offer. You don't get many days like this in Edinburgh. You get a lot of rain, as we all know in Scotland, but it was the most beautiful day. And we got the children all involved. They knew we were coming. They designed lots of sunglasses, as you can see. They also put on a bit of a show about what they thought would be a good idea to use solar power for. Little solar power mower over there. Not sure that's a good idea. Solar powered aeroplane. What happens when you go into the clouds? And then little awning there, a little solar powered awning, I think. But this was, and we invited all the great and the good of the city to come along. The mayor came along, and a lot of the teachers and some councillors. So it was great for them to see the kids really getting involved and getting enthused by what we were doing. So once we'd raised the money, we had to negotiate some contracts with some installers. We had to get the thing designed for building warrant, and we were on a very, very tight schedule because in the UK, if you don't get your buildings commissioned by a certain period of time, you lose your feed-in tariff. You don't get it. So the whole thing had to be done very quickly and very professionally. So once we finally got them in, we got the directors out, and they all went up and had a look. There's an example of why shading is important there. So there's trees on the left meant we couldn't use that bit of the roof. But of course, the reason why we were doing this was not just to give the opportunity for people in the city to own solar panels and become part of a cooperative. The key thing here, it was mentioned earlier about, somebody talked earlier about how you get over the public procurement process. Well, we came to the City of Edinburgh with an idea. They couldn't then go out to tender and invite the private sector to come in and take it over. So what we devised is a way that we would have a service level agreement with the council, and that meant that any of the surplus profits of the co-op, so once you paid your members their 5%, all that money would be used to help the city council. So with energy efficiency measures, with education. So we've got an agreement with the council to say that within the first 5 years, the fund, the community benefit fund, the surplus fund, will purely be used to help the buildings that host the solar panels. After that, what we do is we buy back the capital back from our members. So what that means is there's less of the profit has to be paid to capital, therefore there's more surplus profit, therefore the fund gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So after 5 years, we agreed with the council that we would also use that money to help other buildings in the City of Edinburgh become more efficient. We would help put some more money towards fuel poverty projects, and we would also look at developing new buildings. So it's a way of increasing the number of solar panels and increasing the community benefit and increasing the access to money to help fuel poverty in the city. So that was how that worked. And that's it from me, really, I think. Yeah, there's my details if you'd like them.
Thank you, Paul.
Okay.